Hello again, kings, queens, knights, and peasants, and welcome to a one-off episode where I show you how I develop my redstone. The purpose of this is I'm hoping it'll inspire you to develop new redstone contraptions instead of following all the pre-made tutorials out there. This can be a real fun experience and you can invent new stuff that people haven't come up with yet, so I hope you like it. Okay, so a little backstory here. Ground Crazy Mai has tasked me with building a shulker unloader that is smaller than the ones currently available. Which, now I've kind of been wanting to do a video like this anyway, so I figured this was a good opportunity to show you how I develop my redstone, and maybe spur you to develop your own redstone. So the first step to making your own redstone device is to understand the mechanics. To do that, just search up a YouTube video on what you're trying to build and, make one. So I'm going to start with that. Alright, so to start, I'm just going to use a tutorial. Navy Nexus is the one Mai shot me, so we're going to use that one. Okay, so that is the shulker box unloader by Navy Nexus. I'm not going to go over how to build it because it's his video. You should watch his tutorial. I will link the video down in the description and you can go watch it if you're interested, but I'm not going to try to steal his views by making a tutorial on his build. Okay, so once you know how to build it, make sure you understand how everything's working. In this case, it's pretty straightforward. You basically have your shulker boxes here. You dump in your inventory. So what happens is this chest feeds this dispenser. The dispenser puts out the shulker box. These hoppers fill it. What this trapdoor is doing is basically it allows it to break the shulker box, but gives it extra room so it don't go flying off and get lost. Now, I don't have tile drops on, so this ain't working right, but if I did, those hoppers would pick it up and put it in this chest. So this part here is just determining how full this hopper is. This don't really seem to be working, honestly. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do, is simplify this process. I understand what's going on, but the complexity of it definitely doesn't make it the most efficient design. Okay, I'm just lost on how this is supposed to know the shulker box is full to begin with. Alright, so this design definitely has a couple flaws. Still seems a pretty good design overall, but... Hello! Post-recording Zappa here. I'd like to note that, no, this design did not seem to work in the current version of Minecraft, but the tutorial video is 2 years old, so it probably worked fine in 1.17. So this is nothing against Navy Nexus. Okay, so basically, once you understand the mechanics here, just try to kind of build your own that you think might work a little bit better. Okay, so first things you need to understand is just what you're trying to do. In this case, we want to know when this shulker box is completely full. So we need to get a comparator and figure out just how much of a signal we get on full strength, which should be 15. Okay, as you can see, right now I'm just playing with the mechanics, trying to understand it. So in this case, the only time that's going to go all 15 blocks is if this is totally full. Now, once we have that understanding, what we need to do, we need to understand just what shulkers do. So what we need is when this is completely full, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, that's not quite right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think if I do it there. Okay, so that's basically the very basics of a shulker loader. So now we can build a shulker loader at its most basic core principles without anything fancy going on. Now, as you can see, this is a lot of trial and error, so we need to understand we cannot put the shulker right on top of that hopper, because that will make it break. Now, with that shulker there, we kind of need... Yeah, if we put the shulker right on top of the hopper, it's just going to get emptied out into the chest, which we don't want. So we need to put that up a little bit. So again, this is just understanding the mechanics, because at first I was going to put it right there, that would not have worked. But because I understand the mechanics, I know I can't do that. Now, provided this works, we should have a very basic... Okay, you can see right there we have a problem because we're experimenting. We need to fix that problem. Now we should be able to dispense a shulker box. Looks like we need a hopper as well. Okay, so now what should happen is when that box gets full, which is going to take a while since I somehow got an empty shulker box, not a mostly full one. Let's try this again. Push the button, dispense a shulker box. Now that shulker box is going to fill up, get broken. Now, this is something else to understand, is you gotta know when something may not work right. In this case, you watch videos, they keep... A lot of the videos say they make a lossless shulker loader, such as Navy Nexus. So this should tell you that there was an issue. Well, shulkers don't always get saved like they should. Sometimes they get shot out of the contraption and lost. Which, of course, is a bad thing. So let's see, if we try that again. Okay. Really, that's working. What we need to concern ourselves with now is just keeping it from all flying out. Which is basically just a matter of, hey, box this stupid thing in. Okay, so now we try it again. And I broke something. Okay, so when I boxed it in, I had to add an extra block to keep them from flying out. But this did change the length of our redstone signal by 1. Which, of course, is not something we want. So now we gotta figure out how to fix that issue. Basically, we've added 1 to the signal. Now we need to subtract 1, right? So we'll extend this out a little bit more. Now that should work. There we go. Let's load a bit more cobblestone in to make sure we can run everything. When that fills up, okay. There we go. Now it is able to fall. There's the 3 boxes that it gave us. So these are the 2 when it was broken, which is what it's supposed to be. Okay. So there is a very basic shulker loader. This works, to my knowledge, perfectly. Of course, I'd have to do a lot more testing to make sure it's not losing items and blah blah blah. But honestly, this is basically exactly what we wanted to accomplish, right? But as you can tell, this thing is definitely not more efficient than this thing. So I mean, that is... So we did not accomplish our goal at making a better system. What we did do, though, is now we understand how everything works and what we need to do. So now that we have a design and a basic layout, it is time to refine the system and make something actually good. So the blaringly obvious issue on this one is this redstone path, which is just really in the way of everything. So we need to make this more compact and easier to use. So my first thing I think I can do to improve this is to move our dispenser up. Okay, so there was our first so-called improvement, which basically we just shortened the layout on all this stuff by moving that dispenser. Now, question is it going to fully work? Because we don't know if putting that dispenser there was going to cause the shulker box to not reach the hoppers. So that did its job. So now this is working. Now, we don't automatically assume this is going to be 100%, because it's very likely this will have a loss issue on it. Because that seems to be a big thing on the YouTube videos. But at least it's a bit more compact. So now the next thing is, how can we make this even more efficient? So our big, gaping, obvious problem here would be this redstone line. Let's see, I see another place that we can easily make a little bit of an improvement, and that would be our little collection system. Okay, that gives us the smallest, easiest layout we can get. So now we need to worry about that redstone component. How can we make that redstone line smaller? In this case, what I want to try... Alright, let me think for a moment here. So we need to get 15... a signal strength of 15. Yes, an easy way to shorten a redstone pulse. Let's see. I want to keep that there, so what I'm going to do is use a barrel. And now we can just place redstone directly on top of it with no problem. Let's see. 1, 2... Kind of surprised that's actually connecting. At least I think it is. No, it's not. Okay, yeah, I didn't think that looked right. Does that work? Wonder what the signal strength on that is. So yes, this is just the experimentation process. yank this stuff off. Again, just experiment, play with stuff, and just try to figure out what's going on and where stuff is going to work for you. So in this case, that did not... So here's a box that is not quite full. Let's see just how full this happens to have to be. I think this is just what we need. You put that in at 63, the light's off. Add one more. Okay, the light's now on. So that's like good, almost perfect. So yeah, that actually gives us the ability to run a comparison test. Okay, so now what we need to do is shorten this signal. I think the easiest way to handle this is just going to be an inverted torch. Let me see here. Nope, that is going to interfere with that. That may be what we want. No, it ain't quite what we want, is it? So now we need to get power up there without messing with that. So there's an inverted torch. Don't think it's quite what we wanted, is it? So we need that to work the opposite way around. Actually, we only want that to blip, don't we? So I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. So what we'll do, I think all we really need is an observer. That looks simple enough. Because then again, the issue is, of course, it is running through everything. Let's see here. So now we need something that we can control the power level of with ease. So let us get... I think I got a good idea on how to do this. If I can find the item. Okay, so now we need to find a way to make this so that it only turns on at the proper power level. Since we are using comparators though, these things are actually made to do something easy. So we will make a book with a bunch of pages. And this will let us easily control the level of power going through it. We need to set it so that lamp is off. If I'm right, I may have to switch this to subtraction rule mode. That's a little bit too much. If we do that, no. I don't understand comparators that well. I mean, I think I know what I was doing wrong. See, mistakes happen even when you know what you're doing. And if you watch any of my videos, you'll know that I have no idea what I'm doing. So we're just gonna get our lectern, book and quill. No, because of Okay, so I'm already not liking this layout, so we're gonna scrap that idea. So how else can we reduce signal power? At this point, what we do is go to Google. Can we make a much less powerful signal? I mean, we could also try this instead. Three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's just gonna be huge. Okay. So basically, after that point, I spent the next 8 hours just testing, experimenting, and figuring out different things until I finally came up with this design that actually works. Now, I have a tutorial on how to build this and run it, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But I hope this video was useful to you. Now, I hope you found this video interesting and it inspires you to develop your own redstone, and shows you the process for doing it. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you found it useful. Well, special shout out to my first Patreon, the Royal Knight Ground Crazy Mai. If you want to support the channel, please use the link in the description and join her. Thank you all for watching, and keep on rocking Knights of the Bedrock.